All right, so here we're going to set up a forum. Now, when you're setting up a forum, all you're going to do, you find the forum activity. Go ahead and add it. And we just get to call this. And we get to choose from some available options here. Now, this is going to help you understand what each of the options are. In terms of setting these up, it's not difficult to set them up. You just want to make sure you're using the one that you think you're using. Otherwise, some things might not quite work. So an example would be if you want each period, so let's say you've got 5 periods of the same class, and you want each period to have their own forum space. That's completely fine. What you're going to do is you're going to make sure that it's set up so that this is going to work like you want it to. So this is, you could post for the first one, a single simple discussion. You could post a question and everybody else can reply to that question. So it says here, it can't be used with separate groups. That means that you're posting it and anybody can reply to it no matter what period they're in, and everybody can see other people's replies as well. In this one, each person posts one discussion. Each student can post exactly one new discussion topic, which then everybody can reply to. So what you're going to do here is, as a participant, you're going to post one discussion topic, and then, so everybody's going to have their own discussion topic, and then you can reply to other people's within it. The Q&A, this one's kind of unique that it looks like an empty forum until they have a response. So you could say something, let's say you're reading Of Mice and Men. What was the purpose of Lenny living in the barn? Something like that. I don't remember if that's right. So if you're an English teacher, don't harp on me on that. Anyway, students would have to respond before they would see anybody else's response. But then they'd be able to read other people's responses as well. The standard one, so this is where anybody can start it, anybody can reply. There aren't a lot of rules, essentially. These you can use with separate groups. So I could say, group 1 can't see group 2. So I have different periods essentially have different places where they can post, even though I only set up the forum once. And again, this is everything's open here. You can always start a new discussion, and the replies you're just going to see right underneath them. So I've used all of them. There's reasons you'd use one over the other. If it's not working the way you think it is, sometimes what happens is you got to make sure. So for instance, if you can't see someone's reply, just make sure you're in the group as well. That's a common thought that you forget. If a teacher's not put in a group and it's only available to specific groups, then the teacher's not going to be able to see some of the replies. Again, you have the same settings. I don't really force subscription. I've used forums, so there's different ways you can use them. I've used them for essentially students can ask each other questions, and then other students can reply to it. The reason I did that was I found out, and I was included in this, if I had questions, like on a physics question, you can just go to Google and kind of type in the general topic, and you'll kind of see a discussion about it. Well, we might as well have that in the class, so it's specific to the concepts and the things that we're looking at. So it's good to see. It's also good it's good for students to help each other. It's also good as a teacher to be able to see the thought process. It's okay if people are wrong. It's okay for somebody to say, hey, I think you might have done that part wrong. But they're the ones kind of hashing out the specifics. You can put in an RSS, so something like on the side of the page, if you want to track it, you can track, on the side of your home page so that you can see the discussions that are occurring in this forum. Yeah, you get to choose if you're going to lock it. This is, do you want to say you have to, a certain amount of time has to pass before you can keep posting. The grade is something that you can't grade all of them. You can only grade some of them. You can grade this one, but then you'd actually give it a rating. Now you get to choose who has the ability to rate, so you can do like a sum of ratings. So I could say in this forum you're going to post one discussion and you're going to reply to two others, and I could go in and I could say any post is worth 10 points, any reply is worth 5 points. So then I would say sum of ratings, and I would make it out of 20 in that example. So now every time I go in and I rate students, it's going to give them a score out of 20, but it's going to be from the summation of the 3 posts, the one discussion, the 2 replies that they made. There's other things you can do. By default, teachers are the only ones that can assign a rating to a post. You can actually open that up for students in permissions, and then you kind of have like an Amazon type deal where, these people have been rating it high, so that post is going to show up above some of the other posts. You kind of have to be careful about, obviously you don't want people just going in and messing with ratings for no reason. So, and then we've already looked at these other things, how the common settings, and if you're going to restrict anything on that. To go back to these, your best bet, you kind of read about them, you see which ones you want to use. The Q&A is probably the most different. These other ones are similar to a post or a blog post you've probably seen in the past. You can do, we don't have activity completion turned on this course, but you can do this activity is not considered complete until they've posted 1 discussion, 2 replies, or 2 discussions, 1 reply. You get to make those decisions. So that's how you set up a forum.